What's up, noobs? After a roller coaster 2 years and countless deals that fell through, I am proud to announce that I've finally closed on a new deal. And every month or so, I'm going to give you the inside track on how things are progressing so you can see how real estate development happens behind the scenes. If you followed some of my previous videos, you know that I'm winding down YD development because I didn't want to do development by myself. So I spent months iterating through dozens of ideas for what to do next and even interviewed with a couple of companies, and I've decided to join Clear Mountain Capital as a partner. Like YD, it's also a small team with a very similar prop tech forward mindset and a budding VC arm which I'm going to be heavily involved in. They have a growing ground up multifamily and single family home track record in Connecticut, and they're beginning a deal pipeline in NYC. And that's where it made a ton of sense for me to come in since I've been working on NYC multifamily deals for 10 years. So without further ado, here's an interior walkthrough of our future condo conversion in Manhattan. So this building is currently a completely vacant 5-story walk-up totaling about 5,400 square feet. There's FAR available, so we're planning on adding a 6th story if the structural conditions allow for it. This staircase is pretty rundown, so we're going to swap it out with a new one, and then behind that we're going to put in a new elevator. One of the NYC code requirements is that elevators have to be installed in any building with 6 or more floors, but since this is a conversion to condos, an elevator actually adds a lot to the sale value, even though it eats up a lot of space. So this open area over here is going to shrink by about 8 feet in width to allow for the elevator shaft. Now the building isn't in great shape, which is actually what I love to see for renovations and conversions. Pretty much everything you see will be stripped down to the joists with new plumbing and electrical from scratch. So this bathroom's gonna go, and so's this kitchen. The first floor is currently the longest unit in the building because it has this sunroom that extends beyond the back of the building into the rear yard space. As nice and bright as this room is, per code we've actually got to chop this part short because it doesn't hit the minimum setback requirement. But that does mean we'll have more outdoor space to work with, so we're going to get creative here. In case you're wondering, yes, I will be sharing a ton of ideas about the design ideas we have, prop tech we're going to throw in here, floor plans, and more, so hit that subscribe button because it's going to be coming in subsequent videos. But for now, this video is just an interior walkthrough to show you the raw starting point we're working with. So heading down to the cellar, this is currently where the utility meters and the boiler are, but we're going to duplex this down from the first floor apartment to create an accessory space. The ceiling heights are actually quite nice for a cellar, so I think the space has a lot of potential, and the first floor apartment might end up being the largest one. The boiler is probably going to be pushed back into this room over here, and I'm going to see if tankless water heaters make sense because they're super energy efficient. And the current boiler location is back in this closet over here, where I didn't care to go into, but this is where the elevator pit has to come down, so this area is going to be totally redone. Okay, so now we're on the second floor. There's a lot of exposed brick here, which is nice for a particular type of style, but I don't think we're going to leave it. We're still working on the interior design, so we'll probably go with a cleaner, more modern look and then cover it up with drywall. But other than the brick, the existing site conditions have a lot of weird design choices. Like the step up to this room has gotta go. I'm sure when we rip it up we're going to encounter all sorts of MEP or structural issues, but we'll deal with that after demolition. And here's a little sneak peek of the view, but it's actually seen better from this room next door, where there's another odd design element. This floor to ceiling window does bring in a lot of light and provides a nice view, but it also looks like it wants to be a door, so it's totally out of place. But anyway, the entire rear wall is gonna go because unlike the first floor, which extends too far into the rear yard, all the floors above that are not set back far enough, so we have an additional 10 feet we can push this wall back, which is gonna add an additional 180 square feet to each apartment. 2 bedrooms are gonna go in the rear side of each floor. Moving to the center of this floor, we'll have 2 bathrooms, a bunch of closets, entry from the elevator and stairwell, and the kitchen. So everything you see here is going to be completely stripped down to the joists and redone. Headed towards the street-facing side of the building, these 2 rooms are going to be knocked down and opened up to a living room and a small room that can be used either as a nursery or an office. Okay, moving to the upper floors, the 3rd and 4th floor are actually pretty similar, so I'm going to skip most of it. The biggest difference is really the view, and here it is from the 4th floor. There's more light and you can see further into the entire block's connected rear courtyard, which is really going to be a nice selling point, especially after we push this wall back and put in some bigger windows. But let's move on to the 5th floor, which, despite how run down this building is actually not too bad. It is the penthouse after all. The The original architects really maximized the light and air by putting big windows wherever they could, and the rear opens up to a private rooftop terrace, which is pretty awesome. It was rainy that day, but use your imagination. It's nice up here when the sun's out. Again, there were some really odd design choices that you can see as I walk back in. This unit is actually just one huge room with a sloped double height ceiling. I'm pretty sure plenty of tenants love this space, but one room isn't exactly practical, so all of this is gonna go. Remember, we're likely going to be adding an extra floor, so the 5th floor is going to be like the 2nd through 4th floor, and unfortunately without these lofty ceilings. And the 6th floor is going to have a similar layout, but since it's the penthouse, we're most likely going to give it a private rooftop and build out a green roof or something like I did on my 47th Street project. This building is surrounded by high-rises, so we'll have to think about how to make the roof feel more private while also being able to enjoy a 360-degree view of all these skyscrapers. Alright, so that's it for this episode. I'll be publishing project updates maybe every 1 to 2 months, so hit that subscribe button if you want to see this building take shape. We have a lot of exciting details to share with you. Stay curious, noobs.